The great god Ra was the creator of all things. It was he who raised the earth from the chaos of primordial waters and created the sky to separate the earth from the heavens. Ra also created humans, animals and plants, and gave them life and light. Every morning Ra was born again and rose into the sky in the form of the sun, illuminating the world and giving life to all things. He traveled across the sky in his solar ship. In the evening, Ra would descend over the horizon and travel to the underworld, where he would battle demons and serpents to defeat the forces of darkness and return to heaven in the morning. Ra was the most powerful and revered god in ancient Egyptian religion. He was depicted as a man with the head of a falcon topped by a solar disk. He was the god of the sun, light, warmth and life, and was considered the father of all gods and men. Ra was also the god of truth and justice, and was believed to watch over all people and judge them for their actions. After death, people had to stand before Ra and answer for their sins before they were allowed to enter the afterlife. According to ancient myths, Isis was the daughter of the earth god Get and the sky goddess Nut. She was the sister and consort of the god Osiris, who was killed by their evil brother Seth. Isis was so devoted to her husband that she decided to raise him from the dead so that he could become king of the afterlife. She turned into a bird and flew over the Nile until she found her husband's body. She then used magic to resurrect him and conceive a son from him, the god Horus. Isis was also the great protector and protector of her son. When Horus grew up and decided to avenge Seth for the death of his father, Isis was by his side, helping and protecting him. She used her magic to heal his wounds and give him strength in battle. Isis was also a great mother who cared for all children. She was the patron saint of mothers and children, and was believed to help women in childbirth and protect children from disease and danger. Isis was also the goddess of wisdom and magic, and was believed to have great power and knowledge. She was the patron saint of magicians and healers, and was believed to be able to heal any disease or ailment. According to ancient myths, Osiris was a wise and just ruler who brought civilization and prosperity to the people of Egypt. He taught the people agriculture, crafts, and laws, and made them happy and prosperous. However, Osiris had an evil brother, Seth, who was jealous of his power and success. Seth decided to kill Osiris and seize his throne. He set up an insidious plot that resulted in Osiris being killed and torn apart. Seth scattered Osiris' body parts all over the world so that he could not be resurrected. But Osiris' wife, the goddess Isis, decided to raise him from the dead. She set out on a long and dangerous journey to find all of Osiris' body parts and reunite them. She used all her magical powers to resurrect Osiris. Osiris became the king of the underworld, where the souls of the dead went after death. He was the judge and protector of souls, and was believed to reward the righteous and punish sinners. Osiris also became a symbol of resurrection and eternal life, and was believed to grant eternal life to those who believed in him and followed his commandments. Anubis is the god of embalming, burial and the afterlife. He was depicted with the head of a jackal or a dog, and was considered the patron saint of mummification and the afterlife. According to ancient myths, Anubis was the son of the god Osiris and the goddess Nephthys. He was the god who helped the souls of the dead to pass to the afterlife and protected them from demons and other dangers. He was also the god who helped in the mummification of the bodies of the dead so that they could be preserved for eternal life. Anubis weighed the hearts of the dead on his scales of truth. He compared the heart of the deceased to the feather of the goddess Maat. If the heart of the deceased was lighter than the feather, it meant that the deceased had lived a righteous life and could pass to the afterlife. If the heart was heavier than a feather, it meant that the deceased lived a sinful life and his soul would be eaten by the demon Ammit. Anubis was also the god who helped Isis raise Osiris from the dead. He helped her find all the parts of Osiris' body and reunite them, and then assisted her in mummifying Osiris' body so that he could be resurrected. Gor is the god of the sky, war and hunting. He was depicted as a man with the head of a falcon, and was considered the protector of the pharaohs and all of Egypt. According to ancient myths, Horus was the son of the goddess Isis and the god Osiris. He was the god who helped his mother raise Osiris from the dead and protected him from the evil god Seth. Horus also defeated Seth in a battle for power over Egypt and became king of gods and men. Horus was considered a god who protected Egypt from enemies and demons. He was the patron saint of the pharaohs and it was believed that the pharaoh was the living embodiment of Horus on earth. Horus also helped people in their daily lives and was considered the patron of hunting, fishing, and farming. Horus was the god who controlled the weather and rains, and who could bring harvest or drought. Sekhmet is the goddess of war, destruction, and disease. She was depicted with the head of a lioness and was considered one of the most powerful and dangerous goddesses in ancient Egypt. According to ancient myths, Sekhmet was the daughter of the sun god Ra and was created by him to destroy people who plotted rebellion against him. Sekhmet could bring death and destruction, and it was believed that she could destroy the entire world if she wanted to. However, Sekhmet could also heal and protect. She was considered the patroness of physicians and healers, and it was believed that she could heal illnesses and injuries. She also protected the pharaohs and Egypt from enemies, and was considered the protector of mothers and children. There was also an annual festival dedicated to Sekhmet, during which people tried to propitiate her so that she would not harm them. People also wore amulets with the image of Sekhmet to protect themselves from disease and danger. Thoth is the god of wisdom, writing, magic, and the moon. He was depicted with the head of an ibis or peacock, and was considered one of the wisest gods in ancient Egypt. According to ancient myths, Thoth was the god who invented writing and gave it to humans. He helped people in their daily lives and was considered the patron of scribes, scholars, and sages. Thoth also helped the pharaohs in ruling and was considered the god who recorded all the events and decisions that took place in the world. Thoth was a god who could predict the future and who could help people with their religious rituals and practices. Thoth was also associated with the moon and the night. He was considered a god who controlled the cycles of the moon and stars, and who could give people light and hope during dark times. He was considered a god who could grant people wisdom, knowledge, and magical power, and his image was often placed on the walls of temples and palaces. Hathor is the goddess of love, beauty, music, dance, and motherhood. She was depicted as a woman with the horns of a cow with a solar disk between them. According to ancient myths, Hathor was the daughter of the sun god Ra, and was one of the most beautiful and beloved goddesses in ancient Egypt. She helped people in their daily lives and was considered the patroness of love, marriage, and family. Hathor was also associated with music, dance, and festivities. She was considered a goddess who could bring people joy and pleasure, and who could soothe their hearts and souls. She loved music and dancing, and who patronized musicians and artists. Hathor was also a goddess who was associated with the sun and the sky, and who could grant people light and warmth. She was considered a goddess who could give people love, beauty, joy, and protection. Thoth is the god of craftsmen, architects, art, and creativity. He was depicted as a mummified man with green skin. According to ancient myths, Thoth was a god who could mold things and creatures out of clay and who could grant them life. Thoth also helped people in their crafts and professions, and was considered the patron saint of all artisans and artists. Thoth was associated with wisdom and knowledge. He was considered a god who knew all the secrets of the world and the universe, and who could grant people wisdom and knowledge. He was considered a god who could grant people creativity, skill, and success, and his image was often placed on the walls of temples and palaces. Set is one of the most controversial gods of ancient Egyptian mythology. He was depicted with the head of an unknown animal that had a long nose and ears, and was considered the god of chaos, storms, deserts, and foreign lands. According to ancient myths, Set was the son of the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut. He was a god who was associated with strength and power, but also with violence and aggression. Seth was associated with the desert and foreign lands. He was considered a god who controlled these territories and who could help people with their travels and expeditions. He could also help the pharaohs in their wars and battles, and who could grant them strength and courage. However, Seth was associated with evil and chaos. He killed his brother Osiris and tried to usurp the throne of Egypt. He was associated with demons and evil spirits, and who could bring misfortune and suffering to people. Despite this, Seth was considered a god who could give people strength and power, and who could protect them from dangers and enemies.